So good afternoon and good morning, Mr. Bernard.
Good morning to you. It is morning here.
Yeah, morning in Jamaica and afternoon in England. Yeah. So everything is good?
Yes, indeed. Can't complain.
Good.
No use complaining these days.
As I say, probably nobody will listen to us anyway. Yeah, it's great. I know we've caught up before in terms of on a podcast, but it's good to have you as a visual interview, visual recording. And I want to say a very, very big thank you for that, participating in this initiative, The Forgotten Generations. Yeah. So thanks again for taking the time out. I know you're a very busy person for doing this. So we're going to go down the road that we visited before, which is just getting a bit of background about yourself, really, as to where you were born, and we'll just take it from there.
I was born in Port Antonio, 23rd of April, 1951. I think that was the year of a terrible hurricane in Jamaica.
Actually, I was told that myself.
Yes. Yes. We moved to my family, the Bernards and the Masses from my mother's side, Bernard from my father's side. We moved to Kingston, went to school in Kingston, and at the age of 13, 14, I left to go to UK, to school in UK. And while in UK, I must admit, I didn't like it at first at all. I wanted to leave. I want to go back to Jamaica. I hated it. I really hated it.
Can I just ask then, interrupting you, why did you leave to go to UK? Must be a specific reason?
Well, in those days, in the 60s, everybody was going overseas. That was the done thing.
Right.
Family moving for better life. I was young, so I was supposed to say I went to UK. My sisters and things and mom, they went to USA, and I'm glad that I decided to go to UK because I had an aunt there who I was her favorite. So I said, right, I'm going to UK. That's it.
Oh, I see.
I am glad that I did, and glad that I chose UK and not the USA for various reasons. With.
But what can I ask? Did you have a choice in the matter, or was it?
Yes, I had a choice, but I view the UK, in spite of their problems, UK had been more civilized.
So did you make that conscious decision at the age of 14?
Yes, I did.
Really?
Yes, I did. Yes, wow. Yes. America to me was not popular. I saw something about America that was just not right with the people in general. It's a modern country with a lot of people. I would question, how balanced they really are. Even a lot of the intellects, you listen to them the way they do, you wonder, seriously? And also, everything in America is black and white. I'm not criticizing America. It's an observation and a thought. So Europe on this, and I found that Europe, even though the immigration problems and race problems thing, it was more subtle.
Right. Yeah? But that was very mature of you at that age to view the world like that, or to be able to gather that kind of information.
Yeah, because I grew up in an environment here in Jamaica, a multicultural environment. So I was exposed to a lot of, foreign stuff, so to speak, and foreign people.
Right.
So my view, and I had an interest in world affairs from a young age. Yeah.
Okay.
I really did, because I used to read a lot.
Okay, that's very interesting, actually, because unlike a lot of other youngsters who would have traveled abroad, a lot of them came from the country area and didn't actually have that sort of mix that you had in Kingston. I wouldn't have thought. Not that they don't read, but the cultural difference in mixing with all those different people in Kingston would have made a difference, I would have thought.
Yeah. I mean, I was exposed to a lot of things, television, before I went foreign, so to speak.
Wow. Wow.
And I remember when I went to England, I got to tell this. This was hilarious. I remember my aunt's husband, you know.
Yeah.
Bless him, bless his soul. I was sitting in the front room once with him, and he said, and he was showing me all the different stuff in the room, and he said, "This a carpet where you spread brown floor. This a television. You turn it on and you see picture."
Really?
And then he said, "This a radio, gram we call it, radiogram." And I said, "Why are you saying that? I know these things." I remember my fine voice. I know these things.
But,
Yeah, he was not exposed to these things before he went to.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was exposed.
But, I understand it from his perspective, actually, because I think a lot of people weren't exposed to the exposure that you had, quite honestly, and as I speak to people, a lot of them weren't exposed to the same exposure that you got. So I kind of understood where he was coming from, really. Wow. Very interesting. So
funny.
Yeah, very funny, very funny. So what happened next then? 14, you came to where in England did you come to?
We're in London, Battersea.
So in London. Yeah.
Yes. And I remember this, I am proud of this one, very, very proud of this, and I have to mention this. I remember I had my school report with me from Jamaica, and my aunt took me to the school and they gave me a test to do, and I did the test and everything, look at my school report. And I remember, vividly, the teacher looking at my school report and the results of the test that I did and said, no, he needs a better school than this.
Really?
Yes. And I was saying to myself, really now? I thought UK, everything in England is better than Jamaica. The motherland, everything is better. I thought, but then I realized, and then I went to school, and I remember a different school. Yes, and I got accepted to that school, and I came, the first term I came second in the class. I remember that. And then I realized that I had better schooling in Jamaica than I had in England.
Yes.
No, and it's a fact. I say, it's a fact. God bless Arthur Primary School. Yeah. Mind you, they used to cane you in those days, even they got cane. Cane you there, and well, in Jamaica, they used to give you a flying shot.
but I have to agree with you, because the same thing has actually come out of so many people that I've interviewed in terms of the education. When they came here, about almost everybody said that they'd already done those curriculums at that age. Yeah,
and the school that I went to in England, leaving Jamaica, I did algebra at school. I did algebra, I did literature, and I had an interest in literature. Shakespeare and all, I could recite. The quality of mercy is not strained, it droppeth us. The sort of thing. I did none of that. So I was a bit disappointed, because I had that view. We held this view that England was the motherland and everything there was better.
Yes. Streets paved with gold and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, ideals and realism, I found out, were far apart.
Absolutely. So how was the actual rest of the schooling for you?
Yeah, the rest of school, it was okay. I enjoyed, but I must add, I was disappointed with certain little things, incidents at school. And I thought, as I said, another situation, I remember, to religious knowledge. There was this guy in the class, he was a big guy, big rugby player type of,
Yeah, I know.
Big. I remember there was a situation with our religious teacher. He was a small man, and I remember, I think he must have caned this big guy, and he grabbed him, his jacket, lift him up and slam him against the blackboard. And I said to myself, good God, I was shocked. Is this England? I was just speechless. I've never seen that in Jamaica. That would never have happened in Jamaica. So he said the difference between discipline, yes, and
yes,
they were a
yes,
bit harsh those days, you know.
yes, yes,
We
yes.
inherited from the British corporal punishment, all came from corporal punishment. But that sense of that was another shocker to me. How can you do that to your teacher?
Yes, it's just unheard of, isn't it?
And that. And the next thing I couldn't understand, you know, school break and things like that, the kids would smoke, go in the corner, some of them and smoke. Smoke? What?
Yes, it was very noticeable, the different levels of disciplines.
Yes, 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 yeah. Well, we inherited it from them and we continue with it and exercise it and, you know, but, and they,
yes,
I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah.
I'm not being mischievous by saying this. I'm telling these are facts.
Yeah. I do understand that because, and like I said, there's a lot of people that I speak to that are telling me the same thing, and you know, it's evidential as I saw that myself. So, did you?
So and after a while, I started work. Everybody, you do summer job here and there, a job. But I wanted more. You know, I had exercised the thought of becoming a dentist, you know.
Oh, yes.
Yes. But I was still confused about what I really wanted to do. And then, you know, the Army, the Navy came out, the Air Force came to mind. And I met a few people here and there when I was fascinated with the military. There's a lot of adverts going on at the time. And I decided to try for the Army. And I never forget when I was 17 and a half, then yes, going 18. Yes, I went to a selection center in Corsham.
Right, okay.
Corsham, yes, the Army Selection Center. And they put, you know, and I never forget, you know, when we walked in from the training station, you know, onto the bus, they took us to the center and we all lined up there. And I'll never forget, there's a sergeant sitting there, was very pleasant and polite. And he said, "You finally made it, boys." in a jolly, you know.
Yeah.
This is not bad. That was the reception. And I don't forget, he said, "You finally made it, boys." And a nice smile, pleasant people's personality. Yeah. Yes. And then they took us to this room and kitted us out into some super-sized baggy uniform. You know, the type of pants that follow you when you walk.
Yeah. So just this note from the sergeant or whatever rank he was. When he said you finally made it, what does it mean? Did he mean that because you joined the army, you finally made it?
Yes.
Wow.
The army. Yes. That's what he said. And that was a selection, and they showed us lots of you know, the career officers, you know, different there, and then this, you know, because most of us was confused. There are a few of them who knew what they wanted to do, you know, and some of them were already qualified. There were a couple of guys I remember, it was a lab tech.
Right.
And he was already qualified. And I think there was about 25 of us. And by the end of the week, 10 of them gone home.
Oh, really?
They miss mommy. But I was all excited about it, you know. Yes. And then we went through the selection center, and then I decided I'll go for the medical corps.
All right. So was at that time you made that decision then? You go for medical corps?
Yes, I want to be a dentist. That's close. Well, still medical. So
yes.
Let me go for the medical corps. Wow. And I was sent to Keogh Barracks, Aldershot.
Oh, yes.
That was in, what month was that? Good God, it was in January. Damn cold. I remember that. Those days, cold. They were climate change. They didn't know anything about it. Was just damn cold. And yes, we went through training. We started off with 35 and 15 graduated. And I was selected. I'd never forget another situation. We used to get weekend passes to go home. And one day I arrived back at Ashvale, and then you had to take the taxi from there up to Keogh Barracks, short journey.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the back of the taxi, and the driver said to me, "There's something different about you. Why you look so pleasant and cheerful? Most of the guys them that I pick up to take back to camp, they're all, after their weekend home, and they're miserable, and some of them literally in tears, they want to go home and so on."
All right.
I said to him, "On the contrary, after all, I'm not in jail." So I always had that cheerful disposition, and domestic things was not an issue to me when it came to making your beds and all those things, because I learned these basic skills from home.
Yes.
So it's second nature to make your bed, shine your shoes, and all those little things. My colleagues, they had, it was a burden to them. They used to save up their dirty clothes and carry them home on the weekend for their mom to wash me. Not me. I wash my shirt, wash my socks, those simple basic things.
Yes.
I wasn't stressed or burdened. They were depressed.
Wow.
They couldn't even make a bed or iron a shirt. I mean, they taught us to iron shirts, but already I knew these basic things, those basic home skills.
So how long what was the square bashing, as they call it?
Oh, God, that was something. That was everything that I did, I approached it with just this openness.
Yes.
The gymnasium, it was tough, but I was always smiling. They used to call me Smiler. Smiler. And on the parade, when you stand to attention, and then the inspecting officer would pass by and stand in front of you, and you have to keep a still. I burst out laughing, and then someone they would end up laughing too.
All right.
I don't know how I got away with it. I don't know how I got away. Wow. I remember this officer, he stood there in front of me, and I'm serious, so that I'm just shaking, and he stood there, and I just started, and then he burst out laughing. He took off his hat and oh my God.
Wow.
So in the end, I ended up being their favorite.
Okay.
And of course, some of the other guys, they used to get jealous.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they would get jealous with them. They were jealous with them.
Yeah.
But I just did what I did in the gymnasium. Climb those ropes. Hey, it was fun. And you see some of the guys in tears. They're literally, when they're shouting, it was just funny to me.
How long was the whole?
I was in training for 4 months. 4 months in training, and then I got best at the parade. The saddest thing, looking back now, I said this to somebody, a friend of mine, to Nicolette in South Korea. I was talking to her yesterday. I said, Nicolette, my moment of glory throughout my army career, nobody has ever been there, never had a family member to share or experience it with me. That is one of my saddest regrets.
You mean on your passing out parade and all that, you didn't have a family member to come and see you?
Not one sole family member, nobody.
Wow.
I have still got that mug up, this tankard up to this day.
So you were best recruit?
Best all-round recruit.
Oh my goodness. And nobody to witness it from your family?
Nobody.
Wow.
And they were it was, I didn't experience any racism whatsoever. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I was the favorite.
Well,
because I was a smiler.
Yeah. So you did the square bashing after 4 months, and then you were sent off to what, trade training somewhere?
I got posted to Germany.
Really? Straight off to your training?
Yeah, to 28 Field Ambulance, Germany, which is based in Bergen-Hohne. And at the time, I was totally ignorant about the war and so on, and the Nazi concentration camps and all that. So I remember once I was in the office where this officer said, "Oh, you're going to Ona," so such a, you know what I mean? I don't know. They said Ona, oh, and they said Belson concentration camp. And I'm saying, I don't know what he's talking about. Belson concentration. What's he talking about?
Yeah.
No idea.
Wow.
And I never forget arriving in Hanover Airport in the summer in Germany, and got the coach to, which was about 72 kilometers from there, Bergen-Hohne. And I remember driving through the countryside, going to from Hanover to Bergen. And I looked around. Oh my God, what a beautiful country.
Really?
Yes, that's the thing that struck me. You know, the countryside. I just fell in love with Germany immediately. And when I looked into, because it was a hot summer month, and it was in August. And, you know, see all women working on the farms, in the fields. I couldn't understand that part, you know?
Oh, right.
I was just fascinated with it. And I arrived at home on the camp. I mean, this is the hospital. During the war, they used to experiment on the that place.
Yeah.
But I learned as I got into it, even when I was there, the first few months I was ignorant about what really happened.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I was too young and green. And a lot of things was not told. I learned from the local people, because I remember there was a lot of Poles in the unit. There were what we call MSOs, mixed service. And there was another guy, another Jamaican guy, older than me, much smarter. I'll never forget him. He educated me a lot. Okay, Winston Metcalf from St. Elizabeth, the Metcalfs. Okay, Winston Metcalf took me under his wing, and he said, you know, Poles, such and such, they are refugees from the war. You know, along Yugoslavs and all that. They were. I learned. They are the ones that educated me. A lot of them when they were in concentration camps.
Wow.
You see, I learned from those guys. My God, there you could drink a vodka. I never used to.
Yeah. So how long did you do at Hona then?
I was there for 4 years, and I met. There was a lot of people from the local town. It was Bergen, who used to work in the camp, and I never forget Elsa Grossman. Up till this day, that's a family. I was young, 18, 19 years old, and I met this family, and Elsie, and we were, I mean, I'm 71 years old now, and up to this day, I'm a friend of the family.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Years.
What nationality did you say they were? What nationality?
Germans. They were local Germans.
Yeah, okay.
Who worked in the camp. I remember 15 years, on my 50th birthday, I was in Germany, and I arrived. They were having this festival at this, you know, a farmhouse, and I walked in there through friends who known friends and so on. And I never forget that day. She looked at me. What? They used to call me Samai. And she said, my son.
Yeah.
But she said, my son.
Yes.
She has been with me for years.
Wow.
I just turned up, and all the people were just looking at it. They couldn't understand. That's the relationship I had.
Yes. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So you did 4 years in Ona, and then you moved on?
Back to UK, and that was a depressing time for me.
Yeah, I understand, because life in UK...
Posted back to the depot. Your barracks. Nobody wants to go back to your training depot at that age.
Wow.
Especially after being in Germany, getting you over duty-free this, duty-free that, you know, overseas allowance and everything.
Yeah. And that life in Germany is so different.
Yeah, the life in Germany was different and more fun. I really enjoyed it. I didn't like it in the UK at all. I really hated it. I must have suddenly. I did not.
Right.
I just did not like that.
So were you in full strides then in your trade as a
combat medical technician? Yeah, 4 years there. Those days their promotion was very slow, you know. But while I was back in the UK, I got promoted at the depot, yes, and then I left there and got posted back to Germany. Thank you, Jesus. In between, I did.
Back to the same place?
I did 2 tours of Northern Ireland in between.
Right.
Yes, and from the depot, and also I forgot to mention when my first posting to Germany, I did do my first tour was in Northern Ireland in 1972. That is prior to me leaving Germany.
That's when some troubles was really going on there.
Yeah, those were terrible years, and that was my first taste of action. I remember one night we got ambushed, and my friend of mine, I'll mention his name, Errol Gordon. Wherever Errol Gordon's son is now, I would love to meet you, young man. Ellie. He was a year old then. His father died in my arms.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I did everything to resuscitate it, but he died in my arms. I did everything. Yes, we were hit by a Claymore mine. His vehicle was the last one, and that's the vehicle that got the brunt of it. And there were two died. He was and a couple of guys injured. But he was a friend, Errol Gordon. He was serving in the Royal Artillery.
Right. And how old were you at the time to experience?
I was I 20, 21? I can't remember. Sorry on that. Yeah.
That's really a young age, isn't it? I mean, anytime something like that happens.
I'm telling you this, I cried.
My goodness.
Okay? I bawled. When I saw Errol lying there dead, I gave him CPR, did everything. Okay? He died in my arms.
Wow.
And at the time, he had a 1-year-old son.
My goodness.
I remember his wife name. I've never met her. They were from Brixton. His wife's name, I think, was Gloria. Wherever that his son is, I would love to meet him.
Wow.
Tell him.
I can understand that. That was, you never get over something like that, I would imagine.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And yet you actually visited Northern Ireland another time after that?
I did 4 tours of Northern Ireland.
Wow. And whereabouts did you?
All over. In fact, my first tour in Northern Ireland, I almost got blown up.
Really?
Yes. There was a car bomb. I'm trying to remember where it was. Enniskillen, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, on the high street we were clearing the street. And suddenly, wow, no one knew when this bomb was going to go off. Okay? And suddenly there was this huge explosion. It lifted me. Okay? And I landed up at home. I thought I was blown up.
Wow.
I'm alive, but I ran in the opposite direction.
So were you injured at all?
Sorry?
Were you injured at all?
No.
Miraculously escaped. Miraculous.
No, wasn't injured.
Fantastic.
And there was and that very same year too, or was it on another occasion? Myself and this driver, yes, we both were in the vehicle. It was during the night. We're coming from the hospital. We had just taken somebody there. We're coming from the hospital. I don't know what happened, but the vehicle ran off the road.
Wow.
Okay? The vehicle ran off, was going down this ditch. This was in the night. And I said to myself, good God, no, because I just lost my brother a few years, a year or so ago. And I said, my mom is not going to lose another son. And I kicked the door open and jumped out of the vehicle.
Oh my God.
Yes, and the vehicle went careering down the mountainside, down the side road, and it was quite a distance. And it rolled and rolled and rolled. And when I felt myself, I'm okay. When I jumped out, the driver, I'm in total darkness, but the light was still on the vehicle when it actually came to a stop. And I shouted, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Okay." And I couldn't hear his voice. And I got up and started to walk. "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Because I felt I'm okay.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden I heard a faint voice. "Yes, I'm fine." So I went down and dug him out of the vehicle.
He was still in the vehicle?
Yes. I dug him out of the vehicle. The engine was still going. I worried about this thing blowing up and down. So I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't at that point. Just get him out of the vehicle. And when I looked at my side of the vehicle, it was completely mangled.
Wow. That's a miraculous escape, really. Because to be able to get out of the vehicle while it's moving.
While it's moving, I kicked open the door, okay, and I jumped out.
Wow.
Okay. Yes. And
what did you guys do? What did you guys do from that?
And the very same, yes. And after about, I think it was about 10, 15 minutes, could see I went up. We stumbled up to the road, back to the main road. Yeah. And, stopped the vehicle, and they helped us to go to the hospital. And that very same night, I had to end up guarding him in the hospital throughout the night because, that was the dog. It was a civilian hospital.
Wow. Yeah. Because there was a real threat everywhere you turn, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I'll never forget that night. And of course, my nickname the following day was the Stuntman.
Oh my goodness. That's some experience.
The Stuntman.
I guess each time you went to Northern Ireland, a space like that, they're just different stories that you can tell about that particular.
Yes, every angle there's a story to it.
Yeah.
And again, driving through the countryside in Northern Ireland, I said, "Oh my God!" I fell in love with that country.
Yes,
as well. I did.
I fully understand. I fully understand.
Beautiful countryside. Beautiful.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So your career progressed, and you moved around and
moved around all over the world. Posted there. Did the courses, get promoted, move up the ladder, up to the rank of W01, an appointment of RSM.
Wow, that's it. Wow.
But W01 RSM was not my best rank. In fact, career-wise, it was one of my worst rank. One of my best rank was Staff Sergeant, Corporal, and W02. Yes, the appointments that I had.
Right.
W01 RSM, my last 2 years in the Army, was not very pleasant in terms of my troops were great, my subordinates. Yeah. But there was a couple of officers in the unit that, let me tell you, I hope they're rot in hell. Sorry, you can delete that.
No, you're telling it like it is, aren't you? You're telling it.
I'm telling them the truth.
Yes.
And I'm not afraid or ashamed to say, my last 2 years, career-wise,
of your career
development was not a very happy moment for me. But future, yes, it's good because I get a good pension.
Yes, of course. Yes.
A W01 pension. So long term, I have.
Wow, that's fantastic. So before we move on, then, were there then any other conflicts that you faced?
Yes. I served with the United Nations in Cyprus. That was very pleasant, very rewarding. While in Cyprus, I was able to go to Israel, Egypt again, going out there with the United Nations. I had to educate myself about really how the world operates, the tension between Israel and things. I remember I was in Israel, and I couldn't understand why the man was, "Have you been to Egypt or something?" I didn't understand it fully.
Yes.
The political issues. So I started to learn. And then Falklands War. Yes, I served in the Falklands War. Yes,
wow.
there. I was there. I went down on the QE2 and I came back on the Cambria. Some of us did not make it.
I understand that.
My numbers was not up. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I was on Tristram. So I was there, right there when they bombed Galahad and Tristram. Yes, I was there. I treated a lot of casualties. I saw everything. We all were blasted away with these two planes. I'm telling you this, I could see the face of one of the pilots. It was a shocker. Yeah, so I mean, you're standing there and suddenly you see, you look up and you see these traces coming towards you. Realize, oh my God,
yes,
it's the enemy. They're strafing it.
Wow.
The bombing, when they're doing the bombing run, they're strafing at the same time.
Yes.
So of course you have to dive for cover. I mean, all hell broke loose. I almost got shot by friendly this guy because he panicked beside me and blasted off his weapon. I could literally feel the breeze on my back.
Wow.
And of course, I had to use some colorful words.
And these are just reality of life on the front line.
Exactly. But let me tell you, the training, you've been part of it.
Yeah.
The training, your training, man, kicks in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Fright and fear is put on the back burner.
Yeah.
And you go into action and do what you're trained to do. Save lives, save people's lives, save your friends' lives, save your colleagues. Okay? Yeah. And then suffer the PTSD afterwards, which, in those days, it was not recognized.
Right.
It's the Gulf War that changed that. And I will speak freely about that now. I suffered, but there are people in my life who have made it easy for me. Who start the healing process. And one young lady who I never forget her, Debbie Lovegrove. Debbie, you are down in Chilcompton. Okay, that's where she lives. She has 3 lovely kids. She was the one that started the healing process for me in a club in Bristol. Really? I was suffering, not just me, but my other colleagues who served. We wouldn't talk about it. And one day we just end up talking. I realized I was the only one. He realized he was the only one. And then this young lady, Debbie, took me to the invite. Because what used to happen? I was a single man then, living in a mess. I used to get ready to go out, and halfway I would turn back, you see, and go and lock myself in the room.
No.
Yes, I used to do it. I'm telling you. I used to lock myself in the room. In total, I had 3 weeks holiday leave. I couldn't go anywhere because I didn't have a passport. When they bombed the ship, everything went down with it. I have nothing. I was just depressed, and I thought I was going mad. Until that night, when this girl invited me out to this club, Debbie, I hesitated. And I went with her. And then when we walked in, oh my God, I sort of start to get, panicky.
Yeah.
So the crowd, the noise, and all that. And, I was just, and then at one stage, I sort of look around. I didn't see Debbie. Oh my God. And just about to go into panic mode when suddenly, the lights came on, announcement, ladies and gentlemen, we have amongst us a Falkland War hero. And the place erupted in sincere applause. And then I look around, and that's all Debbie coming towards me, and she came and she hugged me up, and it was even more. I mean, the place just, and I realized I calmed down. That's why my healing started.
That's fantastic.
Yes, Debbie Lovegrove. I haven't seen her for about 35 years.
Wow. And who was Debbie? Did she have any sort of understanding of what was happening to you? Was she in the medical world, or why
No. She was a young girl. Yeah, she was a young girl. Debbie was in her 20s then. She was in her 20s. I knew her before, and of course, we didn't have WhatsApp in those days. We wrote letters.
Yeah, the blueies, the blueies, right?
Okay, and that was the biggest moral booster for a soldier when he's out, when he's away from home.
Absolutely.
A letter.
Was it the bluey? Was it the bluey?
Sorry?
They used to call it the bluey. The letter,
Yeah,
the bluey.
Oh, the blue, the postie.
Oh, you
The
call it the
blue.
postie? Okay.
Yeah,
Was it a blue type letter type thing for that you just put in the post without paying payment for it?
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yes.
I totally forgot about that.
Yes.
No matter where you were in the world, the British,
Yes.
let me tell you, I've been, you part of the system. Let me tell you, the British Army, when it comes to morale,
Yes.
booster, pay, family,
Yes.
very important. Very, very
Absolutely.
important. You post a letter here today,
Yeah.
no matter where you are in the world, within 3 days, it's going to be in your hand.
Yes. 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 Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay.
Wow.
8,500 kilometers down the road. Okay. It was there in your, no matter where you are in the world, 3 days.
Fantastic. So did you used to communicate with Debbie?
Yes, very and so on. And I had other friends too. A German friend in Germany used to come to get. In fact, it's 20 years ago, she sent me copies of letters that I wrote to her.
No, really?
And I compared it with my diary, and it was a mirror image.
Oh my God.
Yes, I didn't know that this
Fantastic.
girl, yeah, Monica Schlevinsky. Yes, that was another good friend. But I am happy to say that out of the blue, I tracked down Debbie last week, Monday.
No. No. And is she still in that same location?
Oh, yes, Chilcompton between Bath and Bristol.
Oh my
And she's got
God.
3 kids. And we're planning to meet when I get to London next month. I am looking, honestly. She, you know, and this is the first time I told her, and I said, you don't realize what you did for me.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You started the healing process by what you did at that club that night.
And it'd be interesting to get her take on it as to why she did what she did. Because of, you know, that's why I asked the question, did she have any sort of understanding what was happening to you?
I can't remember if her dad is ex-Navy or something, you know, I can't remember. Debbie, what's her last name? Blake, I can't, it's a long time, but I'll catch up. And, you know, she said to me last week, you know, when, you know, she's teaching now, and she always mentioned me. The fact that she knew somebody, or she was corresponding with somebody that was in the Falklands War.
Right.
And they're fascinated with that story.
Absolutely.
Said,
and so.
They are fascinated with the fact that she knew.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a whole, you can write a book about that itself.
Yes. Yeah, because PTSD, people, or PTSD, no one knows. You can never understand what PTSD is all about unless you have been, you've been in conflict. It affects you. Anyone, any soldier say to you that they have never experienced any flashbacks, any trauma as a result of being in conflict, they're lying.
Yeah.
They're not being honest.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay? No matter how tough you are, what you are, it affects you. And I had sleep, even to this day, but it's not, it doesn't affect me traumatically anymore. But in the early days of his career, you know, I wouldn't talk about it for years down the line. But you know, I suffered.
Yes, because I mean,
I suffered, but they did it in silence. In those days, if you went sick with that, went to the doctor, an FMed 8 would have been initiated for you, psychiatric evaluation, and that would have affected your career, promotion, prospects down the line. Those were the facts.
Because you were downgraded, medically downgraded, so you didn't get promotion.
All these things would have been on the table, okay? Wow. So the something sign, it's the Gulf War that changed people's attitude. Up to the Falklands War, I'm telling you, that some people did flip the lid, yes, so because that's the word we're going to use. He flipped the lid, or she flipped the lid. You know what I mean?
Yes, I get that, man. Yeah. Wow.
That's the jargon that's going to use, and of course, it's going to affect your career. And some biased reporting officer who's going to would have used that against you. because they were lacking in understanding. Their sensitivity towards that was just not there.
And
now it's different.
When you look at it, you know, for that officer sitting in the chair, it's just a lack of education and understanding.
Exactly.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And can I just say that if you look back in, say, World War One, obviously when all this sort of thing started, when they used to talk about shell shock,
yes,
and all this, I mean, it obviously started way back then. But to say your experience in say Northern Ireland in the 70s, and again the Falklands in the 80s, you would think people would have far more understanding and about all of this in, you know, so long after World War One.
Yeah. Yes, so individuals would, but not collectively and openly. It was not discussed, and as much as there was a lack of understanding. A lot of people's career have been ruined because of biasness over the years. It's sad. A lot of soldiers have suffered. Their career been because of reporting officers, you know what I mean? Reporting.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, they failed them. So the system have failed.
Yes, because one strike of the pen,
yes,
you know, just ruins your career.
Exactly.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. So how are you now? In terms of
life is great. I have lots of friends. I have a career. I am still working. I'm in the medical field. I am a podiatrist by profession. I have a very active practice. There's not a dull moment. I'm living in Jamaica. Good weather. Right? It's wonderful. Good friend. What more is there? I complain? I don't complain. I have friends all over the world. If I'm bored, jump on a plane and go somewhere.
Fantastic.
And as soon as I get there, I want to get back here.
After all, it's yard, right?
I am still traveling with my job because I do training. I train. You know, when I came back to this country, I end up with the Diabetes Association, being director of Diabetes Association of Jamaica, charter organization. As a result of that, it gave me a lot of travel, representing Jamaica and the association around the world, all over the world, over the world, and so on. And of course, I am a podiatrist, and there are no podiatrists in the government health service here in Jamaica. So I developed this course called the Foot Care Assistant Level 1 course, which speaks to training community-based people to deal with basic foot problems at primary care level, which we take for granted in UK because you're podiatrists at every level. Okay, foot care. So that's it. And as a result of the program has been exported to many countries around the Caribbean, and as far as Africa, Nigeria twice.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! So you have you attend the whole of the parishes, all the parishes in Jamaica.
All over, yes. Because I was one of the faculty member on the National Diabetes Education Program. One of the crucial components in the management of diabetes, you know, is the education. Individual understanding is our condition, and by so doing, they are better able to manage their condition. It's not doctor, take a tablet and it doesn't go like that, okay? So this National Diabetes Education speaks to that, and that has gone all over the world too. That was developed by Professor Morrison through National Diabetes Association and in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. So I was on the faculty team on the foot care component.
Wow.
That is what has given me the push, yes.
And on that note, that's where you met my sister.
Yes, yes.
That's how we end up talking. The path of life is what I call it. How amazing is that?
You see why we have to live good and appreciate and embrace changes. Understand people, live good with people.
Amazing.
Your quality of life improve without you even noticing it.
Absolutely. And I have to, whenever I get a chance, I will be sending her a copy of this. after we agree with it, of course. Because I'm going to say, look what happened from the phone call that I had.
Listen here, young man. We don't need to sit down and agree. You have worn the uniform. I have worn the uniform. We are veterans.
Yes, absolutely.
Integrity.
Oh my God, that's just fantastic.
Yes, your sister should be given a good mention. It is as a result of when she told me I got in touch with you the very same day.
Oh my God. And I can remember saying, never heard of her. and then you were laughing.
Yes, yes, he did say that.
Oh, fantastic.
Your sister, she's a, can you mention it?
Yes, yes, she's a judge.
She's a Supreme Court judge.
She's a Supreme Court judge, yes, she is, you know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. We're not mentioning her name, but you know, she's that. Very, very proud of her as well.
She's not that type of standoff, a smart person, but at the same time approachable. Because
Absolutely.
people view some of the people being distant to that. No, very important position to hold. At the same time, she demonstrates the fact that we are all humans.
Absolutely, fantastic. And now you are telling the stories of your life, which is fascinating, because the British Legion had got in touch with you, I believe, and you're now going around and doing talks. I believe you're due to go to.
Yes, I've just been invited by the British Legion in UK to speak at the 40th anniversary of the Falklands War.
Wow.
At first, I thought, wow, me? Yes. And it is important that I do this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For people like you and me, we tell our story because we were denied stories.
Yes.
We were denied. The historians who wrote those books over the years, they failed miserably to mention the contribution of Caribbean people or Commonwealth people.
Yes,
I'm talking
absolutely.
about Caribbean because I'm a Caribbean person.
Yes.
Okay, they failed miserably.
Absolutely.
Okay, and unless people like me, we are the so-called modern post-World War II, we make an effort. Okay, 20 years, 50 years, 70 years down the line, they would not have known that there were Jamaicans in the Falklands War.
Absolutely. And this is one of the reasons why I've set up the Forgotten Generation. So you are telling your story from your perspective.
Right.
With your, not a pen.
Yes. Not a pen, not by somebody, a shadow writer. Right.
Absolutely. You telling your story so that all future generations and people now can see and listen and hear. What a fantastic story this is.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Absolutely amazing. You know, so let's go forward. And I from one military armed force to another, the Royal Air Force. Salute to you. Man,
veterans, we are veterans.
Absolutely. And our career path as well. You know, very similar, just different force, that's all. Right the way up.
Yeah, I'm a public servant, and you know, it is very important too that we pass on for the next generation, and help to inspire other, people of Caribbean origin. I am also I do a lot of community charitable, programs, Rotarian, ex-Rotarian, and also I'm a justice of the peace as well. Excellent. It's a public duty.
It's absolutely. So an absolute role model. Absolute role model. Yes.
Listen, and I am not 100%. I'm not 100%. We all did terrible things of the past. When I say terrible things, I mean,
I understand.
I didn't kill anybody. I'm not.
We,
I'm a normal person.
yes. We're all human. We make mistakes. We move on. But you know, it's the bigger part of us that's good, right? And the smaller part of us that's there because we're human, that's maybe not so good. So we recognize all of these things and we move forward.
I'm sure I have shortcoming. But I have no regrets about serving in the military. No regrets.
Absolutely.
Absolute. And you know, a few weeks ago, I was in Buxton at a reunion, medical corps reunion, and there were I have a photo of two of my bosses, and I never forget those two guys throughout my career. One Lieutenant Colonel, went through the ranks, and they were my former bosses. Wow. And they were genuinely sincere throughout the career. From
fantastic.
The last time I saw one of them was the Colonel. He lives in Cyprus. He was there. Ray Turford. The last time I saw him was in Hong Kong in 1988.
Wow. And isn't it fantastic to meet up these people that you know, the camaraderie?
Yes. And then there was another one. Ted Dagg. I never forget him. And I said to him, I remember when I was a private soldier, you were a corporal, and such a thing, and this is and you defended me. You defended me. I will never forget that. You were always, I'm telling you, you defended me.
And you know, you don't necessarily remember that, you know.
I am going to tell you something. Throughout the 70s, okay? No, this is not a lie. I'm going to tell the truth. There were, you see, the special investigation branch in the army went on a purge. Yes, it happened. I'm speaking about it now.
Yes, tell it like it is, because a lot of people don't know.
If you were black, okay, they raided the camps all over Germany one early morning, and my camp was raided too. Okay, I'll never forget. There was this Indian guy, Shawan, his name was, yes. He and I, okay, were the two black guys in the unit at the time. The other three, they were on overseas assignment and thing. And they raided us and accused us of taking drugs. What?
Really?
The hell? I never used to smoke a cigarette. The way I was brought up, I didn't know how to roll a split. Again, yes, they accused us. And I remember one morning at the medical center, came out of the car, the medical center in Münsterlager, Germany. All the wives, they were their kids going into the medical center, and I'm coming, and all of a sudden, I just heard, take your hands out your pocket, take your hands out your pocket, take your hands out your pocket. Shove me up against the wall, take your hands out your pocket. I don't know what the hell was going on. I was shocked and embarrassed. And that corporal who I met, was an officer that I met at the reunion.
Yes.
He defended me that day.
Wow.
He defended me. They searched everything, your room, they turned up. I read all letters from my mom.
What?
Oh.
So they were on a mission.
You better sign this confession.
Really?
Your friend next door already signed? I said, really?
Oh my God.
So Shawan was in one room and I was in the other room, and he said, you better sign. And they were saying the same thing. We realized.
Absolutely.
And all was that tried to break us. I wasn't going to sign no goddamn confession.
My God. Can you imagine if you'd signed that?
That's your army career done.
Absolutely.
They accused us, the SIB, in the British Army. That's the only terrible, one of the worst situation of my life in the army, that period there. Okay? They raided Okay, and accused. I never forget it. I'm trying to remember his name because I said to myself, I'm going to keep that. If I ever see that man.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I understand. And you were a young soldier, right?
I was a young in my 20s, green. I don't know,
Right.
I don't know nothing about it. I don't know. I don't just smoke a cigarette.
And look at what you achieved after that. I mean, at the beginning of that, this man could have ruined all of that. And you're innocent.
Yeah, accused me and accused Shawan next door in the room. They interrogate us for hours.
My God.
Tried to break us. They did not break me. You better sign this. They read all the letters because those you get letters from your family. You're scared. You keep the letters. You know, they went through all from my sisters and everything.
My goodness. I can imagine somewhere along the line then they would have broken some of the other. So
yeah, they did.
My God.
I wasn't going to fall for it. And the thing is, there was no recourse. But people like this officer, Ted Dag, he defended me. Yes, he's a white guy, yes.
Yes, of course, I understand that.
My boss.
And you met him recently and...
Yes, and I reminded him of it.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. It just goes to show there's good and bad in life, in all of us, you know, and we've got to recognize that's the case. So going forward then, in a young man or young woman, your advice to the generations that's coming up now in terms of going forward in life?
If you get the opportunity to join the forces, I would recommend it highly. Okay? Make the best of it. Personal development. Give back to society in whichever way. Be forceful, be confident. And while you are there pursuing your career, okay, think of others. Be part of a movement that speaks to helping others. Service above self.
Owen, I couldn't put it any better myself. I'm going to have to say this has been fantastic. And thank you very, very much for all that you shared with us. And I'm sure many others will benefit from listening and watching this. Absolutely superb. Have you got any questions for me?
No, I have no questions or live rounds of ammunition in my possession.
How many times have we repeated that?
Listen, I don't want to sound flippant. I don't want any miserable people around me. If I'm in the hospital, if I'm laying in bed, heaven forbid, I don't want everybody to come there and say, oh my God, you look terrible. No, you better come in there and cheer me up. So I don't want to sound flippant, okay? But you have to have a good sense of humor. Yes, work hard, play hard, be serious.
Yes, super. And on that note, I want to say a massive thank you and all the best going forward. All right?
Yeah. Lastly, youngsters, aim high always. Why? The bottom is overcrowded.
Love it, love it. All right. Take care and thank you very much again, yeah?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.